Good afternoon. Welcome to the Commission on Human Trafficking Board meeting on Thursday, December 10th at 1 p.m. My name is Kimberly Overman. I'm the chair of this commission, and I want to call the meeting to order and ask our clerk to do a roll call for determination of a virtual quorum. Unfortunately, because we are unable to do a physical quorum today, we won't be voting on anything, but it would be good to know who's here. Clerk? Please do a roll call.
Let me see where they are. They confirmed that they would be here, so let me just find out what's going on.
I thought I heard it a few minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, who's taking the minutes?
That would be our transcriptionist from our company that we use. So let me find out what's going on, make sure somebody's here.
Okay, well, in the meantime, could I ask, Deborah, could you help us out with a roll call?
And this is actually English. I am the court reporter. I am present.
Excellent. Could you do a roll call vote? I mean, a roll call attendance, please?
Miss English, could you do a roll call vote for us, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought she was speaking to someone else.
No, sorry, she was speaking to you. That's okay.
Okay, well, I can only go by the names I'm seeing on the screen. I don't know if there's anyone else who's not appearing on the screen in the room. I would not have those names.
You're fine. That's fine. That's the roll call that we need.
Okay, I can't see all the last names. Okay, so James.
Oh, sorry. Kelly, I actually sent that document to you all. It's the roll call for Excel spreadsheet that I sent, but I can resend that to you really quick.
I'm happy to do the roll call.
Actually,
Give me your email.
thank you, Deborah. Let's let Deborah do the roll call, and that way we can move on.
Okay, Kimberly Overman,
Here.
Captain Jeffrey Harris. Captain Jeffrey Harris. Andrew Warren.
Here.
Kathleen Kempke.
Here.
Deputy Chief Lee Bercaw.
Here.
School Board Representative Karen Perez. Tina Smith. Dottie Grover Skipper.
Here. I'm here.
Santiago Carrata.
Present.
Jennifer Glaster.
Here.
Brianna Taylor.
Present.
Detective Sergeant Kevin Duncan. Charles Klug.
Klug here.
I'm sorry, Klug. Iris Valdez. Corey Dunaway.
Present.
Chief Judge Ronald Figueroa. Public Defender Julian Hope.
Here.
Connie Rose.
Here.
Captain Robert Staley. Elizabeth Gutierrez. Corporal Gerald Baker.
Here.
I was not keeping count as I was calling names.
I think we're only missing 2 or 3, so I think we're good. But
Okay.
to my point, because we do not have an in-person quorum, we won't be voting on items today. We did send out, thank you and welcome everyone for being here today. I really, truly appreciate it. We've got some good things that have happened. And as we approach National Human Trafficking Month in January, we'll have some great opportunities to shine the work that we've done, as well as the many efforts that are being taken to fight this issue. But since we don't have a voting quorum, we're going to ask you to just review the minutes for 10/28, and we'll defer approving those minutes to the January meeting. That brings us to the chair's report, and I just have a couple of items to discuss with you. I just had the pleasure of presenting to the Attorney General's statewide Council on Human Trafficking an update on our progress, not only on the many things that we've accomplished this year, but as well as to highlight the many efforts that are coming into place as we prepare for Super Bowl 55. It was very well received. Much of the work that we're doing is completely in alignment with what the state council is focused on doing. I got a chance to talk to them about the almost 13,000 employees that are slated before the end of this year to receive our online awareness training through the many employers in Hillsborough County. Got to talk about the FKQ marketing and media program. Unfortunately, they were not able to see it because we weren't able to do a PowerPoint presentation. However, that material will be forwarded to the various different state council members, and they'll have a chance to review it. And then as soon as our website and links are up, we can then share that information out as much as possible. I was also able to share with them progress on the hotline and working in partnership with the Crisis Center. And those, just putting the amazing amount of work that we've done over the last 12 months. We've basically got this commission up and running a year ago in December. So I just want to say thank you to all of the members, all of the working groups that have really focused on tasks and initiatives to move forward. It has been an amazing year, and we've accomplished a great deal. And we've done it alongside of much of what's going on along in the state, and that collaboration, not only with the state council, but also with our regional partners, with Pasco and Pinellas, has really allowed us to rapidly ramp up a lot of efforts. Not only on not only with the help of the Survivor Advisory Committee, or the group that's working on making sure that we're keenly aware of the needs of survivor victims, but also our law enforcement partners, our business partners, the hotel industry, the hospitality industry, Visit Tampa Bay. All of you have done a phenomenal job. To update you locally on the state council, Sheriff Chronister is on the leads the Criminal Justice Committee, and recently State Leader Chris Sprouse actually appointed Representative Jackie Toledo to the statewide council. And they are talking about various different pieces of legislation that may be presented this year as it pertains to human trafficking. And so the legislative and policy working group will have some things to consider this year, and we want to make sure we're working in tandem with what might be presented at the state level and not basically start from scratch. You will be receiving soon a calendar updates to put on your calendar for 2021, which we will also approve in January. So as soon as that's available, so you take a look at your schedules and make sure that you hold the space for these meetings. And then each of the working groups will establish their own meeting schedule based on their agenda on the things that need to get accomplished. With that, I'll move on, unless there's questions, I'll move on to the liaison updates. And the first on the agenda of our wonderful partners is Kathleen Kempke from the Crisis Center. Kathleen, you're recognized.
Good afternoon, everybody. This has been a very exciting time. And when the commissioner talks about everything we've done, I kind of feel like no wonder I'm tired, But we've done a lot in a year. And I'm really feeling very excited and for the opportunity to be of service to the human trafficking providers in this county, as well as to the survivors. The providers do so much with so little, and the work that we're doing at the Crisis Center is there to support them. So let me tell you a little bit about it. We have been given the funds to have a human trafficking care coordinator, and that started on November 1st. Thank you very much. And we created and posted a job description, and we have hired someone. Her name is Chantel Quintana, who began just about a week and a half ago. So the Crisis Center has been really working toward getting that person on and trained and doing everything that she needs to be really immersed in the human trafficking providers that we have in our county, as well as in Pasco and Pinellas. So the Crisis Center, which is made up of the Gateway, which is 211, and Corbett Trauma Center, has so far trained 40 people in the Hillsborough Heroes human trafficking training. So we're getting there. We have about 100 more to go, and our goal is to get everybody trained in the center. We developed a comprehensive list of needs of services that survivors need. Everything from shelter, which we know is always difficult to get, to substance abuse treatment, and even dentists. And I've been working with some very incredible people to get that list populated. You know, as some of you know, we have over 2,000 resources available to everyone, 211 at your fingertips. What was alarming to me when we started putting together these services is that we did not have a lot of human trafficking specific services. Well, now we will. And we will have those services so that they're available for everyone in this county and in this area, as well as for those who call in and are looking for services. We can connect them almost immediately. So right now we're populating that document, and then they will be vetted by the Crisis Center system, which has to be for our accreditations. Some of the smaller providers may prefer not to be on that list that will be public. They may prefer to be on a separate list because they may not want a lot of phone calls. But we will, our goal is to have the human trafficking care coordinator go out into the community and try and find the resources that are so sorely needed for some of our human trafficking survivors. So that's where we've started. She's getting trained, and we're very excited to have that opportunity. And also, we have, of course, we do get calls, and I just checked last month to see how many we had from people who do identify as being trafficked, and we had 7 calls, which we were able to either give support to or resources to all of them. My understanding is that will likely go up in the next few months because of the Super Bowl, but that also we have to consider all the people that we work with, and we get thousands of calls every year that don't identify or don't want to identify. One of the issues we have and we're working on is the willingness of people to come forward and identify, and their concern about law enforcement. And I think that needs to be addressed individually and with everyone that does call. So that's our updates. I think we've gotten far in just about 6 weeks.
That's terrific, Kathleen. I'm very glad to hear that. We do have a broad network of various different providers of various different services. So putting together that matrix is always, I've always found it to be a big challenge. So I'm impressed that you guys are moving along. In addition to that, the sheriff's office and TPD can be of great resource because they've developed good relationships as well.
Good.
And that's an important relationship match. I don't see any hands. Does everyone know how to raise your hand if you have a question? I just thought I should check. I forgot to ask. But if you can't figure out where the raise hand thingy is, you can always just wave like a crazy person and I'll look for you. I can't see everybody on one screen, but I can see that when the hands are raised. So they do come up for those of you that are on the virtual call. So not seeing any hands raised or anyone looking like they're on fire. I will move on to the Tampa Bay Human Trafficking Task Force report from Assistant Chief Lee Bercaw. Lee, you're recognized.
Thank you, Commissioner. And I do concur. We have done a tremendous amount of work in the relationship that we have in this area. I've never seen in any other area in all the research that I've done between local, federal, state, and non-government organization partners. So we truly do have a great relationship. And to Kathleen's point, what we're doing on our operations is we're bringing non-government organizations out with us. So if somebody doesn't feel comfortable talking to law enforcement, they'll be able to be debriefed by NGOs. And we've actually done several operations already in preparation for upcoming events. So just a quick update from the task force meetings. We've met with quite a few NGOs and received training from them and what they do. But if anybody on this meeting is aware of an NGO that will be here during the Super Bowl and being involved, I would appreciate if you guys could let us know, because we just want to be able to have contacts for everybody that's out working. So we are trying to coordinate that. We did receive training from Airbnb. Thank you, Santiago, for helping to put that together. Marriott Hotels. From the Port of Seattle Airport, they had quite an initiative going there for human trafficking awareness and education and mitigation. And working with TIP 401 and of course this task force and coordinating how we channel our tips through. So we've been very active, and I think what's good about this area is it seems like every committee has a cross-reference on there. So we're not missing any of the gaps, whether it's through the statewide task force, this commission, or the law enforcement Tampa Bay area task force. It seems like we have a member everywhere. So I don't think we're missing a beat. I think we're well ahead of the curve. So Commissioner, that's all I have for the updates, unless you have any questions.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It is important for us to have a good relationship with law enforcement, the investigators, and victim services, so that we make sure that those individuals have the opportunity to raise the hand when they need help, but they're also treated with the respect of or the eye of recognizing that they are a survivor victim and do need assistance in coming out of the situation they're in. In line with that, I also heard earlier today that we have other partners in this awareness issue, whereas the statewide council is in the process of rolling out an excellent program for the school systems to do age-appropriate training distributed throughout the school system. So I did not see Ms. Perez on the call today, but we'll have to reach out to the school system to see where they are, so that they can be an assistant. They can be part of the solution.
She's on.
She's on. Oh, okay. Okay. And I'll ask for an update on that particular issue in just a second. Let's move on to the
Commissioner Overman.
yes.
Could I have, this is Dottie Groover Skipper, with Lee Bercaw. I know I am doing some work with a few national organizations coming in for Super Bowl. I'm not sure that they're on your list. Probably, I think one of them is on this call in our backyard, but also the SOAP project. So I guess we can talk. I don't know if you've met with them or not, but would like to get their information to you since they'll be coming in for Super Bowl.
That would be great, Dottie. We could do that afterwards, or I
Sure.
could just call you or email you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
That's terrific. And copy Dr. Curry on that so that we can continue to add or just confirm the list that we have been preparing over the last couple of years. Next on the agenda is an update from the Free Network. Joanna Winters.
Hi, good morning, Commissioner. Good morning or afternoon, everybody. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to give an update on what the Free Network is doing. We are a collaborative of organizations, over 40 organizations that are part of the Free Network that are in the Tampa Bay area. And actually, we also have organizations in Central Florida and in South Florida. So we are growing, which is very exciting because we get to collaborate with a lot of organizations that are working in the anti-human trafficking space. And of course, our goal is to end trafficking and support those that have been affected by this crime. As far as our short-term goals right now, we're very focused on January Human Trafficking Awareness Month and on supporting all those organizations who are getting ready for Super Bowl. We have a few mechanisms in place where we collaborate with each other. We have our Wednesday calls, which have been a fantastic opportunity for these organizations and all of us to get together and talk about some of the challenges and opportunities that we have. You know, part of the reason that the Free Network was created and our focus really is on to leverage the resources that are out there in the community to avoid duplicating effort and avoid reinventing the wheel. And so these are great opportunities for the leaders that are working in the anti-human trafficking space to come together and really support each other and figure out ways that we can really make a difference and a really big impact on the community when it comes to fighting this crime. So on our longer term vision, I want to thank Commissioner Overman, and I also want to thank Hillsborough County because a few years ago, you all supported us in moving forward with a lab where we brought the whole community together and talked about what are some of the areas that we need to focus on when it comes to human trafficking. And so we came up with 7 pillars, and we have been over the last few months focusing on, I mean, we've all been doing work in this space, and basically it's building community awareness, strategies for safe homes, prevention, support to law enforcement, legislation, services to survivors, and engaging with the private sector. So there has been a lot of activity that has been done with our members and throughout the community in all of these areas. And so what we're doing now is we're talking about each of these areas and just saying, okay, what are the things that are being done? What are the committees out there? What are we doing on the state level? What's happening locally here? And who can we engage with in each of these areas to try to leverage some of the things that are being done here? And so we've been able to kind of flush out the building community awareness piece, and now we're looking at strategies for safe homes. And this has been a great opportunity for us because we are also working with the Safe Shelter Collaborative, which is in California, and they have a great technology in place where we can leverage how they are placing survivors and victims into homes, into emergency or into longer term homes. And so we're exploring this with them, and hopefully we'll be able to launch that here pretty soon. So we're looking at the technologies in each of these areas and where we can sort of move the ball forward in anti-human trafficking efforts. So if there's anybody who wants to highlight any events that they have going on for January Human Trafficking Awareness Month, we have a newsletter, we have our social media. So please let us know so that we can highlight your event. I mean, we are here to support you and support the members of the community who are fighting against this crime. We really want to see how we can leverage the things that you are doing and how we can highlight your activities and how we can support each other. So thank you for the opportunity to provide an update, and thank you for all that you are all doing.
Well, thank you. The Free Network has been the lifeblood of a lot of the work that's been done over the years. So I want to thank you very much for being here today and bringing us up to date on what your initiatives and we do one parallel to each other in some respects, but I love the fact that there's some crossover all the way along the way. So thank you very, very much for your work.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is a staff update from Dr. Curry. And Dr. Curry, where'd you go? I lost you. Oh, okay. There you are. I was going to ask you if you were going to show the slides that we had prepared for the statewide council that we weren't able to show.
I can do that. I'm happy to do so.
Okay,
Sure.
I'd love for the committee just to kind of see, I mean, it's only just a couple of slides, but I think it would be great for the entire commission just to kind of glance at the 3 or 4 slides that we have together that summarizes a lot of the campaign.
Okay, let me see where that presentation is. I know it had been updated. So,
You can find that while you're doing that if you'd like. I'll find it, see if I can.
oh, that'd be awesome. Okay.
All right.
So I'll keep it relatively brief. We do have some events that I'll just highlight, but I don't want to say too much about them because it's part of a larger campaign launch for It's a Penalty. So we've got some events coming up on National Human Trafficking Day. So we will be doing an event at the Hilton downtown with It's a Penalty and A21, their partnering agency. It should be a pretty incredible panel of folks that we're going to pull together to provide some wisdom and some insight about human trafficking. And then on the 12th, there will be an unveiling of a GOAT. I think I mentioned this in our last meeting, the GOAT project. And it stands for, I'm not going to mess up this acronym. I'm going to mess up the acronym. So let's just stick with the GOAT project, which is an anti-trafficking project. This is Chris Godwin's from the Bucks. This is kind of his milieu and his passion. And so he's, there's this GOAT project, and you've probably seen them around town, if you've been around town much at all, but there are some at the Epicurean, for example. And we've got a local artist. His name is, he goes by Zulu Painter. And so if you've been to St. Pete, anytime in the last several years, you've probably seen his artwork on the buildings. He's a muralist over there. And he's going to be painting a goat. And so we're going to unveil that. And we're going to be partnering with the Attorney General's office to do a launch event at the airport on the 12th. So those details are still to follow. But as we get more, I'll be certain to share them with the group. So, Commissioner, did you find those, that presentation? Did you? Oh, you're on mute.
Commissioner, I believe you're muted.
Still muted.
Commissioner, oh, there you go. You got it.
I found it. I'm having difficulty opening it because it's kind of big along with this. So give me just another second and I'll get it open.
Okay. So I'll also mention that the we have several billboards that are already up that our creative team that works with Visit Tampa Bay created. And I can send out those locations after the meeting. And we're going to be seeing, there are also Uber wraps that are already out there. And we've got bus wraps and the shelters will be up soon too. So look for that signage. It's pretty exciting to see. And I sent you all the 30-second spot from Titus O'Neill and that messaging. So, and I think one of the things they did so well is that they attended to, I've talked about this before, but the signs that can be kind of smokescreen signs where you're looking for something you think that is very visible, but we know that it's not entirely. And so can we focus as much on the indicators in terms of community vulnerabilities? And I think they did an outstanding job attending to that and doing so very carefully. So as soon as we get the presentation up, we'll pull that up.
Almost there.
Okay.
See if it actually shares. If I share that.
Great. Yeah, we can see it.
You can see it? Excellent. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this is actually the front slide, which is, everybody already knows this. But this is an example, if I can get it to come up, open. This is an example of the Don't Buy It campaign, which is what FKQ put together for all of us. It does show the example of the partnerships that we have with COHT, our transit agency, as well as Uber and Lyft. It shows the schedule associated with the rollout that starts in November and runs through June. It does focus mostly in the Hillsborough County area with sustained efforts in East Tampa, Plant City, and Waimama, which has been areas that we've been focusing some of our efforts due to the higher risk levels, or at least reporting levels that we've found. It is really talking to all of Tampa Bay, but it also does focus on visitors that are coming to this area as it relates to major events, not just the Super Bowl, but major events in general, as well as focusing on our hospitality industry that work with visitors that come to this area. It's a very creative message. We have social media through an Instagram carousel that shows a variety of different issues associated with victims. We have billboards that we've got up. And then the last thing that I wanted to share with you is that there is a very robust timeline that will get revealed of all of these different areas in order to keep getting that message and raise the awareness of human trafficking. And it's in concert with what It's a Penalty is also doing. So I just wanted to have everybody kind of see this briefly. You'll start seeing some of the actual billboards, the newspaper editions, the radio, the PSA that Titus O'Neill did for us, WWE star, as I call him, and local hero, has done for us. And you'll start seeing some of this around the community to be able to point to. In addition to that, we should be seeing very soon the website up and running so that you can share links and various different examples of our efforts to make sure it gets out there. So, and I'll stop.
I also wanted to note that WFLA is going to be they're doing their Kindness Day on Friday. And so Titus O'Neill will be there. He's going to be talking about human trafficking. They're going to do an interview spot at around 9:25. I think this is, it is. It's a lot of time. That's a lovely slide with the ducks. I like that.
I'm trying to close it. Stop sharing. There we go. That's the first time I've actually had to share something. So I was like, oh, okay, let's see how we can fly this one.
Moment of peace. So that's actually it for my updates. And I'm happy to answer any questions, of course.
Thank you, Heather, very much. I don't see any questions at this point. Any waving people? So, okay. Next on the agenda is mapping the process for youth victims in DJJ. Katherine Gomez, who is our human trafficking intervention, who is with the director of human trafficking intervention through the Florida Department of Juvenile Justice, is going to be doing this presentation. Katherine, thank you for joining us today. You're recognized.
Also did an outstanding presentation at the statewide summit. So if you haven't gotten to see that yet, by the way, I would check that out. It was an incredible presentation.
Cool. Thank you so much, Dr. Curry. I appreciate being here. I appreciate the opportunity to speak. And yes, if anyone would like a more in-depth look at the Florida juvenile justice system as a whole and where human trafficking victims fit in, yes, I encourage you to go to the Attorney General's website and view our presentation from the Human Trafficking Summit in 2020. My presentation today is very brief, very short, very sweet. I know that many of the individuals in this meeting are already very intimately familiar with the Florida juvenile justice system and the Florida juvenile justice system as it operates in Circuit 13, Hillsborough County, as well as the neighboring circuits in Circuit 10, Circuit 6, and even over into Circuit 12. But I wanted to just briefly introduce it for any of the individuals here that are not as familiar. I work in the Tallahassee office and headquarters for the Florida Department of Juvenile Justice, but we are a state agency. We are represented in every part of the state. The juvenile justice system in Florida covers all of the juvenile justice system in Florida, which is different than many other states around the country. We manage all of the different delinquency interventions from the earliest diversion programs to try to keep kids out of the juvenile justice system, all the way through short-term detention centers into community supervision, into residential commitment, like a long-term residential commitment if that's needed, as well as any kind of post-commitment supervision. And so we have an opportunity to have multiple points of contact with these juveniles throughout their tenure in the juvenile justice system. And we intersect with the school systems. We intersect with every law enforcement agency in the state of Florida. We intersect with, oh goodness, I'm looking through the membership of this commission, and the Florida Department of Juvenile Justice works with every single member of this particular commission. And many of our youth in particular cross over between our system, the DJJ system, and the Department of Children and Families system that investigates child abuse and makes recommendations for placement. And in Hillsborough County, the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office manages the child protection investigations for potential child abuse victims. And we know that human trafficking victims are child abuse victims. So one thing I wanted to bring to everyone's attention is we know that human trafficking victims move around from place to place. They're not always going to be within Circuit 13 in Hillsborough County or even within the Tampa Bay area. We maintain a network of human trafficking liaisons that are dispersed throughout the state. There are at least one in every single circuit. Hillsborough has two, Pinellas has two, Pinellas and Pasco, Circuit 6 has two. And so on and so forth. We serve on the Statewide Council for Human Trafficking, and our secretary, Simone Marstoller, is one of the Statewide Council members who actually chaired the meeting a few minutes ago on behalf of Attorney General Ashley Moody. And our liaisons participate in every human trafficking task force throughout the state, every human trafficking coalition, anything going on throughout the state of Florida that involves juveniles or minors in any way, shape, or form. The human trafficking liaisons are part of that process. And part of what I do is oversee and provide support to the human trafficking liaisons throughout the state. So, so for future reference, if you would like to have any of the Circuit 13 representation participate regularly in this particular commission, I'm happy to participate on my own. And we also have excellent liaisons in human within the probation branch in Circuit 13 that would be more than happy to participate with you and assist however it may best suit your purposes. So all of our juvenile probation officers throughout the state of Florida, juvenile probation officers are the frontline workers for everything going on in the Department of Juvenile Justice. They manage cases from diversion to probation to residential commitment to post-commitment aftercare supervision, and they follow the youth's progress through every single aspect of the system. And hopefully the juvenile does not escalate all the way through the entire juvenile justice system. Hopefully we're able to stop them early on at the beginning of the juvenile justice system and keep them from getting any deeper. But either way, they follow that youth throughout their tenure in juvenile justice. All of our juvenile probation officers, every single one of them, is trained to administer the human trafficking screening tool. And if you're not familiar with the human trafficking screening tool, I see some people nodding, so it sounds like there's some familiarity. The human trafficking screening tool, or HTST, because we're all government and we love to have acronyms. The HTST is a jointly developed tool between DJJ and DCF that is used in conjunction between the two of us whenever there are youth that are suspected to be victims of trafficking, whether commercial sexual exploitation or labor trafficking. And it was developed by both of us, designed to be implemented by both of our state agencies, and is designed to minimize the amount of times that a human trafficking victim may need to have the same kind of interview. So the tool is shared, we collect data together, we report data together. We're involved in many different research projects, as the commissioner probably heard earlier in the statewide council meeting. And we share this HTST responsibility, and we share the HTST tools so that also the child protection investigators that are actually responsible for verifying if that abuse has taken place. So those child protection investigators have the information that they need to start that investigation and conclude the investigation with as much information as possible. So every single one of our probation officers are trained in how to administer the HTST. They all have to go through that training every single year. Every single one of our probation officers and every other staff person in DJJ is a mandatory reporter. And outside of the juvenile probation officers, any of our staff that have contact with children, whether it be in a juvenile detention center or in a residential program, or in any of our many various community providers, they all need to have an introductory training in human trafficking as part of their initial in-service training before they start working within the Department of Juvenile Justice or its contracted entities. And specifically, where we administer the most HTSTs is right at our Hillsborough Juvenile Assessment Center. I don't think Hillsborough County Juvenile Assessment Center is the highest volume juvenile assessment center in the state. I don't think so, but it is definitely one of the busiest juvenile assessment centers throughout the state. And if you're not familiar with what a JAC is, or a juvenile assessment center, that's the place that a juvenile is brought if they're taken into custody by a law enforcement agency and they are charged with a delinquent offense. So they're taken to a juvenile assessment center where they receive a battery of screenings and assessment tools, and a decision is made at that point whether they're going to stay overnight in the juvenile detention center and see a judge in the morning for a initial hearing, or the decision is made that they will go home under some sort of supervision and either wait for a court hearing in the morning or wait for a court hearing in the near future. And that particular opportunity at those juvenile assessment centers is our very first opportunity where we get to see the kids coming right off the streets, 24 hours a day, no matter what they've been engaging in. That's where we see them. We have very specific screening criteria so that we know when to do a human trafficking screening tool and when to conduct this interview and look for human trafficking indicators, which we can then report to the Department of Children and Families. So we screen numerous youth every day. I know from the inception of the human trafficking screening tool electronically for us, I know we've completed about 18,000 human trafficking screening tools altogether. And that corresponds to about 11,000 youth altogether. Many times youth are screened more than once, depending on what their circumstances are or how many times they come through a juvenile assessment center. But we have conducted about 18,000 of them. We've gotten pretty good at it at this point. And we collect this data, report the data, and conduct research with the data. So that is a very short overview of the juvenile justice system. Of course, I could teach this all day, every day. And I do. That's part of what I do for DJJ. But I'm happy to take any questions, and I'm happy to direct anyone for a more in-depth presentation to the Human Trafficking Summit for that taped presentation. And I'm also happy to volunteer my time and our Circuit 13 liaisons' time for any kind of training needs that you might have for anything related to the juvenile justice system. So thank you.
Katherine, thank you so much for that presentation. The Board of County Commissions selects various different boards that we can serve on, and I fought hard to keep juvenile justice, but I got outvoted on that one. So I am no longer actually on the juvenile justice, but I still, voyeur the agendas and try to hear what's going on to stay connected to it because of the connection between DCF, our foster care system, our juvenile system, and human trafficking, and how critically important it is to identify those children that are at risk of this, because it is life-changing. It changes, everything about their human potential when they get subjected to human trafficking. So I appreciate the work that you're doing. Does anyone have a question? Dottie Grover Skipper, you're recognized.
Yes, I just want to say thank you, Katherine. Katherine and I go back a few years, and she is absolutely phenomenal. So thank you, Katherine, for all the work that you were doing. And I also want to acknowledge Joanna, too, from the Free Network, all the amazing work that the Free Network does as well. So thank you both.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dottie.
Judge Figueroa?
Yes, ma'am. I just wanted to acknowledge that DJJ is just a crucial partner with our court system, and I thank them for everything that they do for us. And I apologize, but I'm going to have to leave the meeting. I've got an emergency hearing, but I'll try and rejoin if you all are still going. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us, Judd.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Any other questions or issues? I'm not seeing none. We'll move on. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is a member discussion regarding working group priorities for 2021. One of the things that, because we got so much done in 2020, in spite of the fact of a pandemic and a bunch of other stuff going on, I'm just very impressed with the various different working groups, and the working groups really got a great deal of opportunity to work together to come up with specific things that needed to be addressed to help this commission move forward. And one of the things I'd like to do for our next meeting, our next overall commission meeting in January, is to ask our working groups to set some achievable or at least identifiable goals for the first half of 2021, where we just identify various different steps that we'd like to see, or various different partnerships or programs or initiatives or policy or legislation, any of the above, depending on your particular working group, is to ask you to consider putting together at least 2 or 3 objectives you'd like to see accomplished by mid-year in 2021. And part of the reason why I'm giving us till mid-year is because we already have a lot of things on the plate. We have to see if they have something they'd like to report.
We don't have official chairs for the groups, but I can certainly just remind us all of the 4 groups and then see if anybody wants to. So from legislative and judicial affairs, we've kind of left off in the short term, but I think we need to pick that up pretty soon and determine our next steps. Does anybody from that group have anything that they would like to report from the prior meeting that we had, or any kind of updates?
Not currently, but I am going to be listening to what I heard earlier at the statewide council to see what pieces of legislation may be under consideration. I'm also speaking with our local delegation on Friday. So I'll take a look and see if there's anything there that crosses over in the area of human trafficking. But we do need to set the schedule, and once we know when our regular board meetings are, we'll then be able to establish our working group calendar. Next, Dottie Grover, Skipper.
Commissioner Overman, also working with Chief Holloway on their legislative subcommittee for the regional task force. And I know that we've set a couple of objectives too that we want to work on. So I think bringing all those together so we can be one unified force for whatever we're working on would be very, very helpful.
That would be great, Dottie. If you could summarize what you believe are the important points and get that through Dr. Curry so that she can make sure that our working group has that information as we get together in January.
Yeah, that's awesome. That would be fantastic. So services and resources, we heard from Kathleen quite a bit of information on what's going on at the crisis center. I think the other component, and Joanna, I'm sorry if you mentioned this. I was getting texts about links to the meeting during your presentation. So I just want to be sure, and you all are working with Kevin Durkin on the vetting form for organizations coming in from the outside. That's correct, right?
Yeah, so I did send you an email last week about us to discuss more details about that. So, but yeah, we will support you on that. So, but if
you guys have been fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. All right, thank you. So from education and awareness, I know Karen Perez is here as well, and so is Santiago and Lee. If anybody has any updates that they would like to share or thoughts and considerations?
Yes, Santiago, as you can tell, we've been hard at work by the commissioner's presentation on the rollout of our messaging and our education. I think as we look forward to 2021, we need to make sure that that rollout is successful and that we capture metrics on how successful that campaign works for us, not only during those months leading up to and immediately after the Super Bowl, but throughout the campaign, and how we can expand upon that campaign and maybe even go more regionally into the future, because as we've all said, we don't want to push the problem around, and the Bay Area is a big area. So looking to continue to work hard again on pushing out the messaging as well as expanding campaigns in the future.
And there is a definite interest. I heard from the task force yesterday. There's a definite interest in a regional approach to this. So, and I think that we've got the pieces in place. We just need to bring everybody to the table and say, let's make this happen. So, relatedly, communications and media. I don't know if anybody wants to speak to that. Committee. I know that we've seen the campaigns kind of that was the product, but in that relationship between education and awareness, we built out the content and we now have the product to put out and to disseminate in the community. So I think it's just figuring out best avenues and how to keep growing that. But does anybody from communications and media have anything?
This is Liz Gutierrez. Hello, everyone. I just wanted to say that in terms of the communications, given that the South County area is a target area, maybe we might want to think about, in terms of objectives for next year, is to think about a strategy that's very regional, but in this case, not regional in terms of the broader Tampa Bay, but neighborhood-based strategies as well, because some of those communications and some of that messaging really needs to be thought out very carefully. And maybe even tweaked, culture, language, conditions, those kinds of things. So maybe we can think about how to shape the message so that it reaches a segment of the population inside of, given communities, geographic areas that are small scale, like, for example, a Waimama.
That's really strong feedback, Liz. Thank you.
I think the other thing to recognize is we do have January being Human Trafficking Month. So I just wanted to make sure that you were aware we have a proclamation at the very first Board of County Commission meeting that will be supporting human trafficking efforts in Hillsborough County. January 11th is our sort of target date for rollout of It's a Penalty, as well as the statewide initiative, and as well as our local initiative will be that morning. It's still in the works, but that's going to be an important opportunity to really highlight what we're doing in Hillsborough County, not only as a sustainable program, but also as a way of preparing for the Super Bowl. And I think it's important to recognize that our communications isn't just about the Super Bowl. It's really about any large event. Because we're such a wonderful hospitality hotel, come here, have fun place, and host an enormous number of large events, broadening the language and broadening the message is important, because it's not just an NFL problem. It's a problem all throughout the country, and we have a big problem with that here. So I just wanted to bring those to your attention. There will be the statewide putting a series of things together. A variety of organizations are putting lots of initiatives and trainings out during the month of January. So as we learn those, we'll get that information out to you to make sure that you're aware of it. Dottie, you're recognized.
Yes, I don't know what bucket, if it would fit into communications bucket, but the new app that the regional task force, the Tampa Bay task force, just rolled out, I don't know how we will encompass that and use that, but it's a great app. I've already got it on my phone. Are we working in conjunction with the new app that the Human Trafficking Task Force rolled out a few days ago?
Well, it's interesting that you should say that, because I saw Chief Holloway's, press conference, and he never said what the name of the app was. So I've been wondering myself, is like, where is this app? That sounds great. That's wonderful. Yay. But he never said the name of the app. So
yes, it's the Tampa Bay Human Trafficking Task Force app, and you can get it through Google Google Play or Apple Play. And I found it just this morning and downloaded it on my phone. So,
Well, and it's a shame we found out after the campaign materials had already been composed. So it was kind of, we had this in place and then this comes out after. So we're actually, Lee Bercaw and I are talking, and we talked about that some last night, and we're trying to figure out how we deal with that now.
I didn't know about it until the press conference either. So, anyway.
I do think we can capitalize on the fact that it's there. And so in our social media, in all of our own public pages where we talk about it, if we add the app to the website as a link to it so people can download the app, I think there's great opportunity for really motivating and arming our citizens, businesses, and community members with the tools that they need to be able to assist law enforcement on not only, arresting, prosecuting the criminals that are doing human trafficking, but also in rescuing those individuals that are trapped in this crime. So, thank you for remembering to bring that up, because I was beside myself. I'm like, okay, what's the name of this thing when I saw it? So, thank you for bringing it up. Recognizing Lee Bercaw.
Yes, thank you. And just so you know, the app is a TIP 411 app, which is the same app that the commission is using. So Heather and I are working. We're going to get those two to talk to each other some way, somehow. It's the same platform, it's just a different connection. So I don't really see that as any big issue at all.
That's terrific to hear. That's really great to hear. Santiago, you recognized?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Going back to a prior comment, and I would request maybe of Dr. Curry, if it's not too late to reach out to FKQ about some Spanish billboards or even Spanish language radio, which is a common way of communicating with our Latino communities. Maybe even, a PSA on Spanish television. I know FKQ can leverage some of those resources, and if dollars are not an issue, maybe it's not too late to do that, because I think that comment that was made early on about communicating to some of our communities down in South County in the ways they're communicated to, which is normally Spanish radio or Spanish television, because we really don't have a lot of Spanish language newspapers in the area, I think would be of value if we can get it done.
Also, Commissioner, our new Commissioner, Gwen Myers, had asked for us to inquire whether or not WTMP could be incorporated with our radio PSAs to make sure that that radio station that has a very large African-American listenership has the opportunity to get the messages as well. So,
and that's affirmative. Yep.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Any other reports to consider from the working groups? Okay. Well, thank you all for the hard work. And we're going to open it up for public comment. If we have anyone that's signed up for public comment, does anyone know if we had anyone sign up for public comment? I didn't get a list, so I normally do.
HTV does not have anyone signed up.
Okay.
I'm not sure if anyone else was contacted from the board for public comment, but we did not have anyone sign up.
Okay. Thank you very, very much. So with that, I would love to ask all of you to do your best to enjoy the holiday season. Please follow all the CDC guidelines. Our numbers are getting frightening. They really are. We are starting to see the impact of the holiday Thanksgiving season. And I can only imagine what we will look like. And we've been told by the epidemiologists that January and February are going to get pretty ugly, because we've got not only the Christmas season or the holiday season along with New Year's. It's very likely that our numbers are not going to get better before they get worse. So please, even around your family, wear a mask, social distance, wash your hands, do those things to enjoy your family, enjoy your friends, but do it safely during these holidays. And I can't thank you enough for all of the hard work that you've gotten done this year, and look forward to 2021 for sure. Any other closing statements before I adjourn?
I just want to say one thing. I wanted to acknowledge to Connie and the Survivor Advisory Committee the incredible work that they've done in reviewing the content as it comes up. I think that it's just, they've given their time. Obviously, there's no compensation, and it's largely anonymous. And so I think that I've been thinking about that a lot. I think that they played such a critical role. So I appreciate that.
Yes.
Heather, thank you. Thank you a lot, because we just had some pretty robust conversations with the SAC committee, and that it's such an honor to know that our voices are being heard, and not just being heard right here locally, but the expansion that's happening and having other entities going, whoa, if that's what they're doing, what can we do? And I just want to share something quickly about that. What has happened is there's a few boards within our state that have now reached out to me and have said, we too need a SAC committee. How can we make that happen? So thank you for listening, for allowing me to lead the SAC committee, and more importantly, for us to have a voice. So thank you.
That's awesome. And Dottie, I just want to say one last thing. I just want to note too that event that is coming up that Dottie alluded to earlier, just gave some kind of brief details. I know it's still in formation right now, but that's going to be an awesome event between SOAP and in our backyard and No More. So maybe, Dottie, when you get more details, then we can send something out.
Yes, and It's a Penalty is very much involved in that as well. And A21. So we're very excited about these two large outreaches, and there is a plan B in the works for if it has to be virtual or drive through, get your materials to go out to outreach. So we're very excited. And Nita Bells, and I think Christy was on here as well from In Our Backyard. So we're just very, very excited. And those are some of the organizations I wanted to get to Chief Bercaw. Bercaw.
That's great. Thank you very much. Oh, just as a reminder, and I actually was slightly guilty of this earlier, Heather is sending a lot of good information out and then asking for feedback, and it is wise just to reply to her. In order to avoid violating sunshine law, replying all is a bad call. So please be sensitive to that. We want to make sure we're following the rules, and we don't want anybody to get in trouble inadvertently. So please just make sure you reply to whoever sent you an email, and be very aware of the sunshine laws associated with our committee, because we're doing great work. We don't want to mess it up. So any other comments before I adjourn? Thank you. And have a wonderful holiday season, and we will see you in January.
Thanks, everyone.